Hey, cycle breakers and barrier breakers alike. Welcome to the Fuck That Bullshit podcast, where we advocate, educate, motivate, and create a safe space for you to embrace the mental wealth of marginalized and disenfranchised communities. We are serving no bullshit knowledge, tools, strategies, and insights. And yes, we will be entertaining. Our goal each episode is for you to leave feeling empowered, ready to take action and make meaningful choices that pave the way to your abundant mental wealth. So enjoy, like, subscribe, share, and discuss. Make sure you save it too, just in case you want to look back at it and get some more tips and things. The PTBS Podcast is for education, empowerment, and inspiration. It is not a substitute for therapy or professional mental health care. If you're in need of additional support, please reach out to a licensed mental health provider. Warning: the Fuck That Bullshit podcast is intended for mature audiences only. This podcast contains raw, unfiltered conversations about mental health, social issues, and breaking generational cycles. We keep it real, unapologetic, and explicit because healing and empowerment require honesty. We're going to have strong language and adult themes, unfiltered discussions on race, identity, and mental wealth, challenging bullshit narratives without censorship. So if you're easily offended, this might not be for you, and it's definitely not for kids. But if you're ready for bold, barrier-breaking conversations that empower, educate, and entertain, tap in and let's fuck that bullshit together. Let's go. Man, I didn't realize how long that little bit at the end was right there. I need to cut that out.
I was just about to say it.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a beginning engineer, y'all. Give me some chances here. Welcome to the Fuck That Bullshit podcast, people. Yes.
Sure,
yes.
no.
What audience at? Like, hit the button.
Make the screen bigger. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I gotta put it.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good one, right?
That'll work.
That is not the norm.
Awesome.
That's not the norm.
Awesome. Okay, but there's a lot of people here now. How about that?
Oh, that's why. Right. Maybe
you like that.
But it's not. Oh, wait. It was full screen. That was on me, not on y'all. My bad. There you go. Yeah. Even not,
we still learning, people. We still learning. Let's do it.
I thought that was on y'all. That was my.
I am your host, Shawnnell, No Bullshit Batiste, your favorite no bullshit therapist, and founder of Choosing Empowerment, Mental Wealth Services. I'm here with my co-host, Big Fred, and Brian G. Money Turner. My daughter, Nae Batiste, CEO of Essence of Serenity, and my beautiful social worker, Nancy of Choosing Empowerment.
Hey.
Welcome to the show.
So welcome everybody to the podcast today. We've been having fun. How y'all week been?
Oh my God, my week was horrible.
No, what?
The dog, man. The dog.
Oh,
the dog looked like a lifted Chevy with two back flat tires. The nigga just dragging in the back. Yeah, I'm gonna take him to the vet. Take him to the vet. See what that
costs. I'm proud of you for taking him to the vet.
Yeah, because usually just let him outside. Put it in God's hands, you know. Lord heal it.
It's like our parents that gave us Robitussin or ginger ale, go lay down. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. We alive though. That shit must have worked.
It must have worked. We did live. We did make it. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Now, how your week was?
Pretty good. Got fired, got hired.
She did.
Oh man, that's
Yeah.
that's a
Bam, bam,
complete turnaround. That's a
Yeah,
complete
you know,
turnaround. That's
Let me
what's
tell
up.
you something. My baby
Well,
know how
damn.
to.
I know how to get a job. Okay, I could sense the bullshit when I was about to be fired, and I got on Indeed. I was like, okay, let's go.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
yeah, I can tell people are
Yeah,
intimidated
see,
about this.
you learning.
Somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah, she know exactly when people start getting intimidated by her.
Yeah.
You know, and so she started rolling out. You know, what about you, Big Fred?
Oh, my weekend wasn't bad. I didn't try and kill my
There go his
dog.
internet.
That's good.
Nothing like that.
You, I didn't try to kill him.
Yeah. I don't know, man. You ran over with that vacuum.
Your dog live
Nope.
over his dog.
I was in the
alive.
meeting with y'all when that happened. Y'all actually are two witnesses. I wasn't even over there. I
Yeah,
wasn't even
you
know
right.
that.
You
We was
right.
having a
You
meeting.
right on here talking.
Yep. Exactly.
And it
Now,
all
see,
went
I'm
down.
not trying to get, I'm not trying to get my people locked up. So I'm not saying no name.
We are not animal abusers. We love our animals. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
You know.
Indeed.
And how about you, Nancy? How your week was?
Weekend was good. I got to spend some time with some of my kids.
Okay.
Mostly them eating and mostly me cooking. So
Oh, well, okay. That's mama and be working doing the mama be doing that. That's how mama go to work sometimes. Good. And me and my baby went to the Joe music
Oh yeah,
show.
that was a
And the
fantastic
time
Nae
was
concert.
had.
Yeah, our time was had, y'all. I had a great time. All I'm saying is I went up there and I backed that thing up. That's all I'm gonna say.
She did. And I was the loudest motherfucker in the.
Yeah. And my knees worked. That was the most important part.
Yeah, that is a positive.
The whole time. So I didn't embarrass myself or fall down. She was like, I would have jumped across every chair though.
Everybody. I'd have been parkouring to my mother.
But it was fun. And I thank you, baby, because that was my birthday present. And that was a grown-up birthday present. She grown now. Y'all.
Next is a vacation.
Let's go. Let's go. I got my passport. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay, Mom, calm down. I don't got mine.
All right. I'll calm down. But today's show. Oh, yeah, we're trying to mend a relationship between the Black and the brown communities because fuck that Black and brown bullshit. Right?
Yeah.
We're trying to come together as a people, which is why I invited Nancy to be on the show because she is Puerto Rican.
Sí.
Puerto Rican.
Mucho bueno.
Puerto Rican.
Boricua.
Un momento, por favor. I only know what I know.
You know what you said?
It don't even have to. Yeah, I do. It don't apply, but damn it, it sound good.
But it still works.
Exactly.
I still say the same one sentence I learned in the 4th grade. It's not Spanish though. It's French.
Yeah.
It's just one sentence. I know the question and I know the answer, and that's all I know.
Yeah.
À la bicyclette. La bicyclette dans la garage. That's the only thing I know. And I taught it to my children.
Bonjour.
So now we
Bonjour.
know.
Yeah.
Nancy gonna teach me some Spanish though. Before long, I'm gonna be speaking Spanish. Me and Nancy gonna be talking crap about y'all.
Yeah. Okay, calm down.
You know,
calm down.
I'm trying to learn. I told the ladies at my job, I'm like from 12 noon to 4 o'clock, I'm not Brian. I am Gustavo.
And
they all look, and all of them are Spanish, and they're from El Salvador, Cuba, Mexico. I only did that because when I go up front after, and they love it. They as soon as I come up there, and they have those heavy accents, and it sound cool. They be, "Hey, it's Gustavo," and I be like, "Gustavo, baby, Gustavo is here." That's a strong ass name, man. I ain't gonna lie.
It is, huh?
Love that shit. I might change my DJ name to Gustavo.
Hey.
I play enough Spanish parties. I be playing music. I don't know what's going on. I be asking other people, like, "Excuse me, is this song offensive?" They was like, "Yeah, it is, but don't worry about it. You good." I was like, "Oh shit, all right." That's how I got hip to Bad Bunny, because I had never heard of him till then. Yeah.
What? You never heard of Bad Bunny?
No explain. Why would I? Why would I randomly? Now I know Vico C. Y'all don't know about Vico C.
Vico C. Yes, I know about Vico C.
I was on Vico C back in 2000.
Wow.
Y'all better get hip, but y'all ain't as well traveled as I.
He pastored up.
Yeah.
Like the little bit that I did know and that I learned was because of my daughter who I adopted, Rosie, because she's Mexican. And so I learned a lot from Rosie, especially with like cuisine and because, I used to let her try to cook some stuff sometimes and, just to be able to explore her culture in the house and stuff like that. But she taught me a little bit something. But of course, she was a foster kid, so she wasn't with her family the whole time. So, she was missing some things. But, I learned a little something. A little bit. Not a lot, y'all. Not a lot. But it's good. So, where can we start? Let's start with why we beefing.
White people.
Good answer.
Shit. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Because I didn't know we were beefing though. I'll be honest. I didn't know. I didn't know we were beefing. I thought we was cool.
Beef.
I think we've always been beefing.
Yeah.
I think it's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know enough.
Okay, so
I mean it's embedded into being colonies and being colonized, and white is right, and white is best.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because I didn't realize there was so much divide and racism and stuff between us until we moved to San Antonio after Hurricane Katrina and all that, and we ended up in San Antonio.
That was horrible.
And oh gosh, like
that was horrible.
Like they was treating me bad, and I'm like, I don't understand why. At the same time, I will be mistaken for Hispanic all the time. People walk to me in the store, Espanol? No, ma'am. And I remember going to the girl like, I look like I'm Hispanic, and it was like, yeah, you could probably pass. So like, yeah, and that's the whole thing too. Is like, and that told me two things. One, that there was a separation because of how they were treating us, but at the same time, it told me how related we were. It told me how related we were. That I could be mistaken, right? And so those features are also, like we are all indigenous to all these places, right? America included, right? And so we are more alike than we are different. But you're right, it is colonization, right? I found somebody with a story of, and this will be not only our Black history moment, but our Black and Mexican history moment.
Sí, bueno.
Sí.
Why Mexicans should not be racist against Black people. In 1821, when Mexico gained its independence from Spain, Mexico abolished slavery, while the United States decided to expand it. Mexico became a safe haven for Black people escaping bondage. Thus, many fled to the south, being Mexico, finding freedom and protection from the Mexican government. Then there's Gaspar Yanga, a formerly enslaved African in the 1600s, who led a successful rebellion against Spain, and he established Yanga Veracruz, one of the first free Black settlements in the Americas. His legacy lives on as a symbol of freedom and resistance. Fast forward to 1862, La Batalla de Puebla, the battle that today we celebrate as Cinco de Mayo. This wasn't just a victory against the French. It was a victory led by indigenous and Afro-Mexican soldiers who fought side by side to protect Mexico's sovereignty. By the mid-1900s, the fight for justice continued across the borders. In the 1960s, during the civil rights movements, Martin Luther King Jr. marched against Chicano activists demanding fair wages, labor rights, and immigration protection for farm workers. But it wasn't just Dr. King. The Black Panther Party also showed up for solidarity. The Black Panthers believed in fighting against all forms of oppression, and that included standing with Mexican farm workers and immigrants. Panthers provided protection at protest, helped organize communities, and support the movements like leaders like Dolores Huerta. The unity between Black and Mexican communities is a reminder of our shared struggle for justice. It's a history of resilience, persistence, and solidarity. And today, that solidarity still matters. We cannot celebrate our history while ignoring our African roots. Nor can we forget the Black allies who fought alongside us. Next time you hear or witness racism, remember our history. We come from a legacy of freedom fighters and unity. And most importantly, divided we stay conquered, but together we conquer.
Amen.
Damn. Now see, I didn't know I knew Martin Luther King. I knew that story, but I didn't know the Black Panther story, and I thought I knew all the Black Panthers.
Exactly. And I learned that today watching that too.
Yeah, my husband taught me that.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah, because before you started that clip, I was just about to say, a lot of people don't know about the Underground Railroad that went to Mexico because everybody couldn't go north. But Mexico, you couldn't be a slave in Mexico. So they had an Underground Railroad that it ran through Texas, Arizona, like New Mexico, and kind of went down through Arizona and California. But of course, nobody talks about that because they're not talking about out of the history about.
Nah, that's too much. That's too much. Yeah,
tell them why we came to give them the truth.
Exactly. That's all. That's all we come to share with you.
You know what I'm saying?
But what for real? What you think? Now I know the white play, and they do that, and it's for obvious. I think it's for obvious reasons. We get all them mugs get together. Shit, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So do you think it was a buyout?
We can't rise up.
Yeah, you think it was a buyout? Maybe you know how they buy. You know how we get the black people to get a little money, and then they think they own that in that white club until they get segregated. You know, because the color of their skin is still what matters in the end. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you think it was that? Because like I say, out of all the Spanish people I know, I've never had an issue. They never treated me funny. It was, but like I say, my numbers are smaller because I'm not in Texas, so I'm not on that borderline. But in Pennsylvania and even here in Virginia, it's a lot. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's a lot. But everybody was always cool. Except and even she's cool, but she was Mexican, but she identified as white. I mean, all the way as white though. Like, didn't even acknowledge the Mexican piece at all.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah.
And
I do think that if just like back in the day for a lot of black folks, if you could pass, you will. Right.
Right.
Easier. Right. I did find make sure I'm saying it right, Nancy. Mejora la raza.
Could you say it again?
Mejora la raza.
Yes. And I was about to say that, like, growing up, even though I'm albino, I have albinism. I'm not albino. I have albinism. And, we got every color of me all the way to my grandfather who's dark, very dark. And, even just growing up, that was my grandmother would sit the girls down and be like, don't marry a black man. You got to lighten the race. You got to improve the race.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what that phrase means. That phrase means improve the race.
Tienes que mejorar la raza.
Yeah. And you keep marrying as white as you can, so you can keep, getting the darkness out. You know what I'm saying? And I just learned that like yesterday too. And I was like, and so I was wondering, like, because we have colorism issues in the black community too, right? But it feels like it's deeper in the Hispanic community than it is for us.
Right, because we have colorism issues in the black community, but it's rare that you hear about somebody teaching that. You know what I mean? You either have people that do and you have people that don't. And even if it's that one person in the family that has that white bougie ass attitude, right? The rest of the family talk about him and treat him like crap. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at this sellout ass bastard. That thing's white. You know what I'm saying? But I've never. That's interesting that it's taught. You know what I mean? That it's taught from younger on up. Right.
I guess just being married to a Mexican, and seeing, like, we have a lot of trauma as black people from when it comes to like how we were raised and stuff like that. But Mexicans, they're a whole different level of like really something with their kids. My husband comes from a very like abusive family, like emotionally, mentally, all that type of stuff. And I'm gonna be honest with you, his mother connects being Mexican to all of her trauma. Like her mother would beat the shit out of her and and all this other shit. So like, I think out of how bad, like, and how, I don't know how to say it. They're just, the way they're raised is just very skewed. Because the oldest sis is usually the one taking care of everybody, cleaning up, doing all the household chores, basically being the mother, while the mother take care of the husband and her boys. Like, and so like it's a very fucked up dynamic, and it fucks their kids up a lot, like bad. Like, so to see even Drew's mom be so allergic to being herself and being in her culture just because of all the trauma that it endured and all of the, it's easy to make them not want to be Mexican, like, because they endure so much bullshit, and it's from their own people, like, so, and it's from people as close as their mother and their father. So like, it's not hard for the white man to be like, hey,
come on over here, right? It's nice over here. It's all white. Look how white it is.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I mean, I've even had several clients that a lot of their trauma was drawn into that, you know, the machismo in the culture, in the Hispanic culture, and the man is the man. He's the man, and nothing happens before the man need to get, and the woman will mess over her kids.
Gets away with murder, like
Whereas the black community is like, nah, fuck you, nigga, and these my kids. You can kiss me and my kids' ass, you know. So like, we will defend our kids first. And then a lot of Hispanic communities will defend the man first.
I'll be honest with you, even with his mother's gay and still puts her women over her children. So like, it's still that very, because they had so much trauma because they didn't get what they needed from their parents, they still searching from it from their partner. Just a little continuous cycle of the same shit. Like,
right.
The machismo is so bad in Puerto Rico that it's literally a crisis. It's labeled a crisis because it is so terrible.
Wow.
They need some sensitivity. They need some Ralph Tresvant in their life, you know.
They love. Don't you? Which one of y'all love Ralph Tresvant? I think that was great.
Boy, that Ralph, get off.
Now, so like, let me ask you this, Nancy, real quick, because I spent time in the military, so I have a lot of friends from Mexico, Puerto Rico, like, so I actually got to sit down and I worked in the oil field, so I know a lot of them close hand. Do you think, going back to what they was talking about, because I think it's more like geological, because when I guess I can still consider them friends in Laredo and closer down to South Texas, who, as far as like lighting up the race, they never talk about that. None of my friends that I was in the military with or that I knew from Puerto Rico, no, they never, none of them. I can't speak for everybody in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
But they were all like proud to be Puerto Rican. If you said, oh, you're Mexican, you was about to get into a fight. It's like, no, I'm not Mexican, I'm Puerto Rican. You know, it's not the same. Like, they would literally fight you. Me and my friend, his name is Juan, we became best friends because we almost ended up beating the hell out of each other because I called him Mexican. And he got, like, he was offended. And I'm like, okay, dude, I grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana. We have Vietnamese people that I don't know the difference between Mexican and Puerto Rican, you know? So then he explained it to me, but I noticed, like what Brian said, I knew some, you know, Hispanics up in Virginia, New York, Boston, all of that. A lot of them did try to stay away from the fact that they were Hispanic. So I'm wondering,
there's a couple things at play, because you have that, it's kind of like a known thing that in Puerto Rico, there is a preference for the lighter skin. It's kind of like known, but not really spoken of. My grandmother, you know, she was my grandmother, and whatever she felt like saying, she said it. You know?
That's what they do.
That's what grandmas do.
And that's what grandmas will do. Yeah. And then you also have the Puerto Rican-ness that comes from being colonized. And what I'll say about that is, at one point we weren't allowed to speak Spanish. and that was a law. At one point,
Right.
At one point, we couldn't show our flag because if you showed your flag, you were going to get arrested. So if you see a Puerto Rican and they're always Puerto Rican, you're always wearing a flag, there's a reason.
Yeah.
So there's that pride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that.
But then they kind of, if you ask a Puerto Rican what they are, they'll say Puerto Rican. But ask them what they are. So we are Taino indigenous. We are, we have Spaniard in us or some European in us. We also have African.
Right.
But they kind of say we're mixed. And that mix kind of, makes having the African heritage, the African DNA kind of makes it invisible.
Yeah.
True.
I can see that because some of the stuff that I ran across also was, and like you said, Fred, I think there's something different for each Hispanic community, people from Spain, Cuba, and even Haiti, because people don't look at Haiti and but Haiti is it, right?
Right.
And so, and it looks like anything, and they don't count Haiti all the time because they black.
Right. They black.
They black, right? And so they separate themselves from that because of them being black. And so I found that each different culture has their own version of colorism and how they operate in it, and like you said, Nancy, with a certain amount of pride. And I can see that parallel even with Black people with the pride thing. The thing like I think about with hair, or you say I can't wear my hair. Well, look at me now, right? Yeah. Let me show you how black we always I'm gonna be black. I'm gonna be blackity black because y'all keep telling us we can't be black, or whatever case may be. So so I think there is some geographical differences as well. But I think there's a lot of similarity in and of course ADHD is doing what ADHD does. The connections with raising children and me and Nancy talk all the time and talk about the similarities that we find between the two cultures and all that. Is there anything that y'all have heard? And I think I asked this online and nobody answered me. I'm just saying that people answer the questions. But what's one thing that you heard that you either figured out later was a lie or you knew was a lie off top when people were telling you things about the Hispanic community? Anything?
No, I've never heard nothing. I've never heard nothing.
I mean, I've heard a lot of stuff, and I guess the fact that I talked to everybody, and I actually had a Mexican friend that I worked with, who we used to exchange cultural jokes with each other, and surprised we still had our job, but that's another thing.
Whole nother story.
That's a whole nother story. We should have got fired a whole lot of times. But I'm trying to think. What was some of the stuff that I heard? I actually heard something one time where they said Hispanic people eat dogs. And I asked him that. I asked my boy that. Oh, dude, I've heard that. I've heard that here.
Let me
in Houston. In Houston? Yes. Yeah, in Houston, Texas. I heard
it was a white man told you that, huh?
It was white. They were white.
Dogs. They're eating
the okay. The way he said it is not here. He said he was in Mexico, and I guess because they think everybody in Mexico is dirt poor. If you're Hispanic, you're the poorest of the poor. It's they don't have real food there, so they have to eat dogs. And I'm like, no, I didn't answer him. I just was and I knew Hispanic people, so I just asked, hey man, I heard somebody say y'all eat dogs in Mexico. Is it true? And they all looked at me like I was crazy and bust out laughing. And so yeah.
I didn't really have any assumptions at all. I'm I'm a very community-based person anyway. And so even in like junior high school in Shreveport, I had like 3 crowds I was hanging with. I had a white crowd, I had my white best friend, my black best friend, and my Mexican best friend. and I would like rotate, you know, and all that stuff. So I was always blending in and all that. So I never had any judgments. And I kind of didn't let people talk crap about other people around me either. So like I'm not gonna let you talk crazy about people. You know. So
Nancy, no, that's a no, right?
No.
Ain't nobody eat no damn dogs.
No.
Let's clear this up.
Okay. Let's clear that up. Now, my only bias was when I was younger, I thought all Hispanic people spoke Spanish.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah, I did.
I thought it was one group, you know, as a child. Yeah.
Because you have to learn the geographics and
right.
Yeah, and that's again, I think that's all about people not knowing what words mean, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because you have to like look up stuff, people. We got the internet.
Like we don't eat spicy food. We eat savory food. We don't do spicy. We don't do tacos. You know.
Hey, and tacos, real tacos are not the tacos that we eating, right? Like if we go to Taco Bell.
Don't talk about Taco Bell. That is fake Mexican food.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never heard a Mexican offer. I've never heard a Mexican offer me nacho fries.
I don't eat all that.
No. When I went to Laredo, I learned the difference between Tex-Mex and Mexican food.
Right.
I learned what the difference was because I've had Tex-Mex fajitas here in Dallas, but when I went to Laredo, I was like, okay, this don't taste nothing like the food in Dallas. Oh no, it's totally different. And it was the nicest little Mexican lady. She couldn't speak English, but she was so nice to me. She fixed me a nice little plate. That plate was loaded too. She gave me way more than I was supposed to.
Let me tell you something. Now that's similar in our communities too, because we will feed you, and we will feed you a lot. Like I had a client I was doing in-home services with her and her grandchildren, and everything. And you know, we're not really supposed to eat at people's houses, right? You know, that's not professional.
Yeah, there's a lot that y'all can't do.
I know, right? However, I always respect the communities that I'm serving, right? And that is a part of the culture. And so when I went there, like I can't go there and refuse lady food, and she's not gonna trust me because that's part of the culture. And so I would go there and she would feed me every time, and I would talk to the kids, talk to her, great therapy, right? And all that. And one time I forgot and I ate on the way there. But guess what?
You gotta eat. You gotta eat when you get there.
Eat some.
You gotta eat something.
And I asked her if I could take the rest home, and she was like, "Oh yes, no problem," and all that. But that was a part of like the cultural connection, like understanding that about the culture, right? Or there are cultural things that I learned, like even from Rosie too, about ojo, right? Because if they envy something of you, like somebody was like, "I love your hair," but in order to not give it ojo, because ojo will make you lose it because I like it, right? And so in order to get rid of the ojo, they have to touch it. So when people say, "Can I touch your hair?" Y'all know how black people feel about their hair, right? So I have to make a cultural decision, right? Do I let them touch my hair because they're not going to explain it, right? Because that's their culture. But because I know, I'm like, yes, you can touch it. Because what they are doing is honorable to you. They don't want you to lose the thing because that's their belief system.
And back home, we put a little black amulet on our babies. So they don't get mal de ojo. Yeah. As soon as they're born, you put a black amulet on.
Oh, I've seen that before.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, I've seen that. Okay. Now I know
we
that.
Get our babies like 10-karat gold chains and things.
But it has nothing to do with that.
Nothing to do with nothing, Heather. Just make it look cool. Hey, look how cool my baby looks. With the 10-karat gold initial. Yup. Raven and Raquel has so.
So I really think too that, and what that made me think about is, I'm sorry, I was about to say cultural divide, and y'all know what popped up in my head. So darn song. So, because there is such a cultural divide, we don't get to know each other's cultures either, right? Because if I tell somebody in the Black community, oh yes, I let this Hispanic woman touch my hair, don't be letting me about to touch it. We not know pets, but that wasn't what she was doing, right? And so, but if you don't understand the culture, then you don't know, right? And I think also as Black people, we talk a lot about, like do your homework and get to know who we are, et cetera, et cetera. But I want to challenge Black people also to get to know other cultures and what their stuff is, so that you can understand them as well. Because we can't bond together, and we can't, get rid of the divide if we don't get to know each other, right?
Facts.
Facts.
So
this is why I say Black people can be racist. When they say they can't never be racist, I'm like, that's a lot.
I don't think that's racism. I think it's more cultural. I think it's because racism is not rooted in color. It's truly rooted in power control.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's one thing Black race
is truly economic. It's a caste.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right? And so that's why they say Black people can't be racist, because we don't have that economic control to be like, oh, well, and Nancy, I'm gonna be racist against you. That means I get to control your power structures and keep you from getting what you need, your needs met due to that, right? And all that. But we definitely can be prejudiced, right? And we can discriminate.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
So we definitely got to get out of that and stop believing the hype that people give out, because like I said, there's a narrative that goes forth with each culture, because I thought today about we need to do this with other cultures, because there's always almost a competition or everybody come in and look down on Black folks, right? And that's with each and every culture, that is like a divide between us. You know what I mean? So trying to figure out like how to mend that divide, but it's hard to mend the divide if you don't fix the mindset, right? For example, Nancy was pissed after the election. Tell us about that, Nancy.
Well, because most of my people voted Trump. And that irritates the hell out of me. And I've talked to people from Cuba. They're always Republican. I've talked to there's certain places. And I always think it goes back to the colonial mindset that you have to follow, the money. You have to follow the whiteness. And I think it's first you follow whiteness so you can follow the money.
Right. Because it's profitable. It's
yeah.
And
for me personally, Puerto Rico's still a colony.
Right.
We can't, if you're on the island, you can't vote for president, but we got to follow U.S. law, So I was very irritated by that because my babies aren't like me. They're not white. They have dark skin. They come in, I would say I have 6 and they come in 6 different colors. Yeah. And, I see the shit they go through. And I see how they're treated. And my nieces are Afro-Latinx, and I've seen what they go through. So it irritates me. The lack of understanding, the lack of idolizing white people.
Right. That's annoying. That's very
idolizing white people. It's just a different level of MAGA even. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, and that's crazy, and especially how things immediately turned around after Knucklehead got in office,
Right.
Yeah, because I was confused too. I was like, when I saw the number of Latino votes for Trump, I was like, this gotta be fake. I was like, this gotta be fake. I said that doesn't even make no sense, because even in his first term, he wasn't pro anything on that in that spectrum, So I can't see how whatever he said on his campaign trail convinced that large of a population of one particular group that he was going to do something any different, and that was baffling.
And also, it's kind of like forgetting where you're from.
Yeah.
It's like forgetting, a lot of them, they're migrants, they're asylum seekers, forgetting the struggle they went through, but they want to stop it for other people.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, there's some other there's another similarity there, isn't it?
Right.
Black folks do that too. It's why we always be like, don't forget where you came from.
Right.
Listen to this clip. This reminds me of what this is this one.
Okay, let's talk about colorism in the Hispanic community for a little bit.
All my three sisters were blonde.
Yeah.
And I was the only one that came out with black hair, dark skin, dark eyes. My sisters have these beautiful hazel eyes. My mom's güera, which is the white one. They call her Tia Güera because she's so light-skinned.
Yeah.
And so I grew up as La Prieta Fea, which means the ugly dark one.
No way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who called you that?
My mom.
No.
I remember she said that, right? Remember that. Keep that in your head. She's the ugly dark one. Her family called her the ugly dark one. Now keep listening.
Like a joke?
No, it's like it's in term of endearment, but people would walk up to my mom and go, "Your daughters are so beautiful." And who's this?
Oh,
and I would be like, "I'm one of them." Blah blah blah. So I wasn't the pretty one. Like I grew up as not the pretty one. So there was a conscious decision when I was young to be the funny one. And I really think that has lent itself to my personality. Like not just like, oh, I'm going to be an actress, but like I just don't value beauty in my own self very much. And I'm with L'Oreal, I'm a spokesperson, which my sisters are still like, why'd they pick you? Still, like nothing like family to.
Now, I'm not going to lie. Colorism in the black community is bad. But colorism in the Hispanic community is different. Now look at her sisters and her mom. Look at this shit. Ain't no fucking way, boy. Look now. They were the beautiful ones. And Eva was the ugly dark one. It's not the fact that they called her the ugly dark one, which is crazy as hell, but it's the fact that they made her believe it. They made her think it. The idea that lighter skin, blonde hair, light eyes just equals beauty has always been crazy to me. There's this saying in the Hispanic community that basically means purify the race. Don't reproduce or don't have babies with nobody that's darker than you or darker skin. Keep fucking somebody that's lighter than you so you can purify and make the race better, because the race is better when it's lighter and whiter. I'm not saying that there's no black people that think like that. I'm just saying it's crazy that y'all have a whole term for it. Generational systematic brainwashing of colorism, racism, and standards of beauty really need to be studied on every fucking level. And the crazier things with Hispanic is either 0 or 100. Like it's either dark skin or white skin. Like there's no in between. They don't do the shades and the brown skin and the caramel and all that shit. You're either white skin or they consider you dark skin. Like what they consider dark skin is fucking crazy, because like Eva's family said they consider her the dark one, right? But then they'll look at a J-Lo and consider her white skin, like the beautiful white skin one. I didn't see a difference in complexion. Like, y'all know it gets way darker than that, right? Like I'll meet a lot of Hispanics and they'll always tell me about like the nicknames that they family gave them, like negro, negrita, some shit like that or whatever. Something that just means black and dark. And I'll be like, why do they call you that? And they'll be like, oh, because I'm the dark one. I'm the dark skinned one in the family. And their skin complexion will be like the same color as Beyonce's. And I'm like, bitch, where are you dark skinned? Cause they done really made you think that anything past pasty white is just fucking dark skin. I'm like, if you dark skin, bitch, what am I? And obviously, like I said, this is not just a Hispanic thing. Obviously, we know black people that think like this. We know Indian people that think like this. We know there's a lot of Asian and like we know a lot of people that think like this. But like I said, this should honestly be studied because the brainwashing is fucking real.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all is different over there.
Yeah, my cousins still call me Blanca.
Yeah.
I'm white.
Damn.
But if you're white, then you're also criticized by other Puerto Ricans. Because I remember in school, my friend had also light skin tone, and they always thought that she was like stuck up because she was white. So
yeah,
can't be too white, can't be too black.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you ain't even gotta be too black to be black. Clearly, you know, Shawnnell, you is black. You're black.
I'm dark.
You black. You dark skinned.
Right, I'm dark skinned. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Fred, you deep space black.
Hey.
Fred's so black. If he took off all his clothes and put on a white belt, people think he was an Oreo cookie.
Shut up. That was a good joke, right? I like that.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult seeing shit like that, especially like being able to, like I said, relate it back to something very personal, and stuff like that. To be able to see it in person and not even know that was something that was like common upon this community. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just my husband's family. This is common upon all of them. Like his mother was pissed that he married darker than him. Like and when it's
like, that explains how racism with you all the way.
Like, it was everybody. Yeah, it's because I mean, like we said, there's colorism in Black people. Like my great grandmother on dad's side, I think, was colorist towards my father because he's pretty dark, but my uncle is pretty fucking light skinned. Mind you, my uncle's not like mixed people light. He's just light black skin. Right. So it's just to hear it that, to put your own down that much, like to that level, and that's your baby. Like me and mom and Gray, we always talking about we can't understand mothers who don't love on their children. Right. We will never be able to understand you.
I'll never be able to understand.
So the fact that you're gonna call your daughter ugly because she dark is crazy, and that woman not even dark. Like
right.
She's mid-skinned. Like so.
Right. And it bothered me even, I'm just gonna say it, even the word attractive. Like if I personally, because I know beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but if I were looking at all those women, she would be the most attractive. Right. So for them to call her the dark, ugly
one is crazy to me because I find none of the light ones attractive.
It's like kinky hair. Like it's like kinky hair is called pelo malo, bad hair.
Yeah, that's what they call in the Black community too.
Yeah, because the Black community, yeah. And I just talked to somebody yesterday about the same thing. Because she has several children, and she made a comment about, because this one got good hair, and we had a whole conversation about it, because I was like, this is what we're not going to do to our children.
You're not going to tell her that. Yeah,
because you have older children who have thicker hair, and you have this child that has wavy hair, and like, what is this child going to feel like when you call that hair good hair? Right. So that means hers is bad. I said we come in all textures and shapes, sizes, all the things, and so we need to honor all of it. Right. And so, there's a little girl today when we stopped at Buc-ee's, little mixed baby. And I walked in the door, and then she's just like, I said, "You like my hair?" And she couldn't say nothing because I made her nervous. But her little brother was like, "I like your hair," but it was obvious she was of mixed race, right? And so and the representation, that bothers me. That bothers me a lot, especially with the hair stuff too, right? And that's part of what I've started finding when looking at Afro-Latinos, because a lot of Afro-Latinos have the thick hair, right? And that's how they will separate them out, not just because of skin color, but like hair texture, right? And I still can't remember that lady's name. She's popular too. Y'all know who I'm talking about out there. But she wears that afro. She's Afro-Latina, and she's very proud to be, right? I can't remember her name. We're gonna find her though. But I saw her on a few things, and she speaks loudly about, being Afro-Latina and how discriminated even in Hollywood or, being famous and stuff like that. She still encounters the same thing even with her own people. And I think that's really unfortunate.
I mean, that just still speak of like the brother said in the clip, the brainwashing. White has always been presented as strong, beautiful. When you think of money, you don't think Jay-Z ain't the first person you think of. You think Elon Musk.
Right.
they put that out there in
I don't
Hollywood.
think of Elon Musk.
We weren't talking about you, okay? You're the unicorn, okay? But most people don't think about Jay-Z. They don't think about LeBron James. They don't think about Tiger Woods. They don't think about those people. Everything that's presented to you since before TV was white.
Yeah.
That's why in the 70s, your hairstyle was common. It was common.
Yeah.
All black women damn near wore their hair like that.
Afro. Right.
All of a sudden, it went from the afro to the straight lace weave. All of a sudden,
in between there was also the relaxer.
Oh yeah. It was the relaxer.
Creamy crack.
Yeah.
Who they now saying cause cancer.
Yep.
Yeah. Black hair back in the 40s and the 50s and all that was nappy. So you got the
perm though. That potato perm. Yeah.
You know, but like I say, it's always been that they've there's if you can pass, you're going to try to pass.
Right.
If you can get that hair wavy and and you can pass in white society, they would, right? And in New Orleans they got Poisson Blanc, also French. French.
That's our from New Orleans. Local French word. Yeah.
Local French word, like beaucoup.
But white was white was successful. If you was anything but white, you wasn't successful.
Yeah.
So,
but
everybody
also,
tried to emulate them.
Also, let me put that out. White, it would definitely that white look was successful, but that white look was also survival. Especially the first second time you go, because even if you could be as dark skinned as you want, but if you had enough fit-in look, you were safer. You were safer. You was less likely to get lynched, beat, arrested, and you might get the job. You know what I mean?
That's what original code switching came from. We had to switch over, right? And so it's the same thing I think for Hispanic community, that they feel like that's their survival, and that's how they've survived since they've been here. It's like assimilate as much as possible, but along that train, that became a mindset.
And that's my thing is because hearing this information, Nancy, it's like, again, like I said, it's baffling to me how ingrained, you know what I mean, how much is put into the children, you know what I mean, like, and I know that young lady, the actress that was talking. Well, I'm saying I know her like she lived next door, but I didn't even know. Yeah, you know what I mean. And then hearing her short story, I'm like, dang. So you were always called this ugly person, right? You know what I'm saying? Which goes completely against who she grew up and became to be, which also states the obvious. But how difficult would it have been for her to believe that, carry that, and then be working at Walmart. Angry and shit because I'm black and ugly,
Right. And what we know about the psychology of people is that she occasionally probably still has money to her head sometimes when she looks in the mirror.
Yeah. But Nancy, is there a thing in you guys' culture that kind of pushes against that? You know what I mean? Like is it you know what I mean? Like is it just overall accepted like that some people do it, some people don't? Is it like almost like how in the black community we tend to speak out against that black ignorance I
think as this newer generation.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, because this new generation, they love everybody. I love about these new generations.
They know about the solidarity that we need.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we caught on real early on that when we stand together, they can't touch us.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the main reasons that like Uncle Brian said in the beginning of the show, like that's one of the main reasons that they are so heavy on separating black and Mexican. We're two of the most powerful fucking groups spiritually.
Exactly.
Fucking just regular schmegular. We two of the most powerful fucking groups of people. You bring us together, should I would say all hell gonna rise, but we just not like that. But you will see
and it's crazy. That is so extremely true. Like imagine that the black community and Latina community we was all on the same page.
That's strong.
Like,
that's strong as shit.
On the same page.
Yeah,
man. They fool around and just give us our own country. Be like, nah,
They
y'all all
would just have to hand over America.
Right.
Because we'll be building the fucking wall. Like, y'all stay in that. And you can keep them sellout niggas and Dr. Umar.
Exactly. yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned Dr. Umar, because also would be a good argument against his case, right? Of you know, black just black this and black that or whatever. Because again, everybody, all of our ancestors are not native to Africa, right?
Right.
And all that.
Right.
They drop slaves off everywhere.
Right?
Everybody got dropped, right? And there were people that was already there in America. We was here first, right? And all that. So we have relationship. And I saw a reel about that from somebody, that there's a relationship with every single culture and black folk, right? African folk, right? And stuff like that. And so, again, if you can take the color, if you can use the skin color as an indicator, if you can use the skin color as the thing we use to divide, and then divide within the division, right? Because we are rainbow of color, right? And which is also crazy to me that dude said that it's just black. I mean, it's either dark or light for them, because we are such a rainbow, such a rainbow in both cultures, right? Dang, I lost the thought. I hate when my mind do that.
Gotta get that ginkgo.
Look,
I saw it
that
way.
You work.
Should have called it. Should have called it name.
I tried.
So,
it was too. It ran.
Ran. Sometimes it just walks away, and I can see it walking. I'm like, come back.
Come back, but I can't grab it.
That one ran. You know what I'm saying? So this dude, like Fred said, he was surprised by the divide.
I never realized that there was such a strong divide between the Black community and the Mexican people. Growing up, I always felt so connected to that community because we share similar history, similar struggles, especially here in the USA. So it was pretty mind-blowing to me when I realized that there's rivalry and hatred between these groups. Obviously, I know that the Black community faces a deeper, more severe problem in our country. I'm not trying to compare. I don't think it's the same, but similar enough that I assumed we would have each other's backs. I can't believe that we choose to be divided. So what I really hope is that the Black community and the Mexican people and people of color in general can make the decision to stand together, because it's not about comparing our experiences. It's about how can we stand together, support each other, create the kind of changes that we want to see for our own communities and for marginalized people all over the world.
Yeah, I like what he said.
I like it too.
Hey, wait, I gotta point this out. He's zesty in a mug, though. He look like he know how to sword fight.
Stop playing with him.
He got one of them big hats. But I like what he said, and that's a good narrative to push across everything. Because I mean, it's kind of like what we was just saying. Like, if these communities could get together. And I'm with him though, because I didn't know, I started this off saying I didn't know we had a beef. I thought we was on the same page. Because I mean, even everything, even down to music, our music is similar. You know what I'm saying? That soulfulness is similar. I know you got rhythm. I know we got so many just simple regular lifey things, not even complicated shit, lifey things in common, so I thought it was always, black and brown always be down,
Right.
But the history in the States is from, I don't even know what year, Mexicans were separated also from blacks. So, the white people created that separation too.
Right.
They went to they went to another school too.
Right. Okay.
They're separated.
Yeah, that is true, because we definitely grew up and we ain't see nothing but black people. It was black everything except on the stove, but because that was the Vietnamese. But they lived in Michigan. They was cut off too.
Right.
We had what? We had the one little white dude that used to go to Nichols. That one guy.
One white guy.
I remember because that was William France. No, we had one white student that went to Nichols.
At Nichols.
I remember. Yeah, because they used to run him home all the time.
Yeah.
It's like that was it. But see that's the difference between our generation. We were truly separated.
Yeah.
There ain't no Vietnamese people lived in the night ward. And we didn't go in the back of Michigan because that's where all the Vietnamese people lived at.
Right. That was their area.
Street signs changed.
After time, everything just started co-mingling. So when people get upset and say they don't understand the struggle, they didn't have a struggle to understand. They were always, hey, my friends are white, my friends are Mexican, my friends are Vietnamese, Korean. They was all together. So they didn't know that, we want to part. So no, my son didn't understand why my hatred for why I felt the way I felt about white people. He couldn't understand it. He was like, that don't sound right.
Yeah.
It was because my bias was based on something 50 years ago. Yeah, it was like 50 years ago.
But I think environment and experiences, yes, but also environment. Because when me and Melissa met, and I was saying like, when I was growing up, I could go a whole month not see one white person because we didn't go where they went. They don't come where we was at. And it was fine. Right. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. And she thought that was insane. You know what I'm saying? Because where she grew up at, it was always a mixed community. It was always a mixed community. So it was black people, white people, Spanish people. It was everybody back there in Westmoreland. So and it was a small community. So they knew each other, Right. So it is just about kind of like where you at, you know what I mean? And we was in the South. I mean, we was in the South.
The South,
you go past Louisiana, you in Mexico. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
or first you have to go through the Gulf of Mexico.
The
Gulf of Mexico.
Let's
get that.
Mexico.
So, but it's and it is. It's about environment because like Jaden and Xavier, interracial couples ain't no big deal to them. That's normal. Matter of fact, it's Jaden's preference. You know what I mean? He he says all the black girls I know are ignorant. You know what I'm saying? So in his world, there's none that meet his criteria. So
and that makes sense. But I also see even though because I had more experience with white people than y'all did because I was in Shreveport, right? Oh, yeah. And so it was on military base. So white people,
North Texas.
But but then like you said, we move out of the ghetto. We get we do better, right? And my children have been in lots of different schools and different cultures and all that stuff or whatever. However, over time, still learning that a lot of the mentality is still there and still in the other children, too, right? And mostly of the white children, but you can see the sprinkles of it also in the other races of children who believe they white or still trying to be like white, and you understand, because my children blackity black, right? And both of them have been interested, in white people before.
For 2.5 seconds.
She said for 2.5 seconds, right?
Quickly got a clue.
But had to especially Gray had to really grow into her blackness because she just didn't know who she was at all, right? And stuff. But now, she get pissed when she sees some interracial couple. I'm like, stop getting mad at the people they in love. Okay.
I ain't there yet.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's like that. Little Fred, he has never dated a black girl. Never. Only Hispanic women.
And he loved them Hispanic women. I
Oh my God, yeah, he does. Like, that's and he'll tell you, I have nothing against black women. He just
like him a Latino.
Love him a Latino.
I've been in
married
love with
one
the community since I was a child, so I feel you. Just how heartbreaking it was to find out a lot of them don't like me.
Yeah,
because like I've been in love with this community since I was little. Like I was like, I need to be a Mexican. Still got one. But
Fred has dated Mexican girl. He dated a real cute Puerto Rican girl. I thought he should have stuck with her. I loved her. She was feisty. She kept him under control. I was like, that's the one. That's her. He's married now to a Mexican girl, live down in Rosenberg, and he beefing with his in-laws right now. His brother-in-law straight up told him, I don't like you because you're not one of us. Told him straight up. He called me. I'm like, well, what should I do, Dad? I'm like, you know what? You know where you stand with him now. Only way I could come from it was because nobody never told me I don't like you because you're not one of us. I already knew white people didn't like me. So they didn't have to tell me I wasn't one of them. I already knew, and all my Mexican, Puerto Rican friends, they all accepted me for who I was because I don't care where you come from, who you are, what language you speak. If I make you laugh, we cool. And that's the way I look at it. So, he still respects him because that's her brother, but he don't put up with no BS. And now I think they just kind of got a kind of mutual, you married to my sister, kind of
we gonna tolerate
thing.
We gonna tolerate.
He said they've been kind of speaking now because, once he realized his sister wasn't kicking him out, he wasn't dumping him behind him because they had a strong influence on her, like to the point to where they could get her to do stuff when she should have been taking care of her husband and her family. They could get her to do stuff that they wanted her to do. And him being my son, like, no, bro, that's your house. You're the man. You let them know you're the man, because if you don't, they're gonna run over you. I've seen it. I've seen it. Hispanic mothers are strong, and if they get in there, it's a fight to get them out. But now I think they just respect him because he stood up for himself.
Right, absolutely.
Wow.
And you have to, So,
and he a turner, so I had to make sure tell him don't go start swinging on everybody because
We'll still take your black ass again.
You got to beat it.
Yeah. I'm 4 hours away. I can't make it in time.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. We ain't beating nobody.
Wait,
who that was on the chat?
That was
right
the
here.
very last one. Yeah. Interracial dating can be triggered.
With the older generation and black families, especially growing up in Tennessee.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
What part of Tennessee? Break up 19. Come on back. What part of Tennessee? Break up 19.
All right. She can give it. Oh, wait, here we go.
Nashville.
Oh, nah. I was in Memphis. I was in the quality part of Nashville. I'm scared of Nashville. Drove through Nashville one night, kept going. I was tired as shit. I was like, we should stop and get a hotel. No, we ain't.
We're gonna keep going.
Nashville and any part of Mississippi, I'm gonna keep on trucking.
Absolutely. And geography. She said don't stop.
Yeah.
And the geography does matter. Like the geography matters because in certain areas, it's just norm, like you said. And in other areas, black folks better not bring no white person home, and white folks better not bring no white person home, and stuff like that. And so And that's another. Well, that's another difference there, because for Hispanic communities, please bring a white person home, and Black folks, please don't bring a
right.
So,
I don't know. My father was kind of different with it. He was in a way like against the white people or me bringing a white boy home, but at the same time didn't want me bringing a Black boy home. I think the Black boyness was kind of like a self-reflection thing. I don't think he wanted me dating anybody like him. But the white person, it was kind of weird because I couldn't have either. It was like,
right? Yeah.
Because he got mad when I like girls, so I was like, "You told me."
Yeah. Well, you're right.
Hey,
he didn't leave you a choice.
Right, no white boys, no Black boys, no girls at all.
Exactly.
Just don't date
like
me.
that. This is Wilford.
I just have to stay single.
Yeah.
He's
from another planet. He's not even a human being. So
right.
He's a plant.
Can I date an alien?
That makes sense.
Like
that makes sense. I was supposed to stay single.
Yeah.
So you know what? I got a good question.
Hmm.
I got a good question for you, Nancy. I was watching an interview today with Oprah and Viola Davis. Good interview. Y'all need to watch that.
All right.
Because you're Hispanic, Puerto Rican, like you said, you have the albinoism, so people probably think you like the white girl from down the street. We're not gonna call you Karen. But how did you deal with that growing up? Because the only thing I had to deal with was being a Black man in America, a Black boy in America. You had to deal with it. Well, just for me, I feel like you had to deal with it from all sides.
The first time I realized I had the privilege of passing as white was in Germany. My dad was stationed in Germany, and it was like the first snowball fight of the year, the first snowfall of the year. And, the kids we all decided to have a snowball fight. And so everything's cool. Everything's chill. Everybody's throwing snowballs. And then all of a sudden I hear somebody get the wetbacks. And I'm like,
well, we'd have been fighting.
Yeah, it just, it went over I think I was in 4th grade, so I went over my head. And then I get pushed to the side. Not you. But they were targeting my sisters.
See, look at it. There's some pros. There's some pros.
They were targeting my sisters.
Oh, so you had to get in.
Oh, yeah, we would have been fighting. Yeah.
And they kept telling me, no, not you, them, the wetbacks.
In Germany, that's the purification of racism. What they invented the shit.
And then it became like an entire snowball fight where it was like all the minorities were on this side and all the white kids were on that side.
There you go, instant separation.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
And then I've been in situations where I'm with my sister or with my nieces. I've heard Mexicans use a very derogatory word towards my nieces. If I speak Spanish, people say, "Oh my God, you speak Spanish! You're amazing!"
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
My sister speaks Spanish. They give her like a nasty side eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think that would have been because you did deal with your family treating you different because of the albinism, right? And like Fred said, having to play both sides and all that kind of stuff. From a mental health perspective, because we also talk about mental health and all that. How did that affect you?
Like my parents were kind of like, they drank the colonial Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
You got to speak perfect English. And, we were in the military and they enjoyed the fact that we were like, immersed in these schools with all these white kids. But I never related to them.
Okay.
I never related to them. So I think that that's always been my issue, is that I look white, people expect white, but I don't relate.
But you're not white. Right.
Yeah.
It'd be like, you ain't coloco ser en el macho. Surprise, my friend. I know why. Huh?
Oh, goodness gracious.
But I think mental health wise, it affected me more because I knew the difference between me and my sisters. I was seeing it. I was hearing it.
Yeah.
And it made no sense to me.
Right.
Right.
How did it affect your dating life?
I don't lean towards white. Far from it.
Okay.
Any other color but white.
Anything but white. Yeah.
She's looking for the black man. Huh? Negro. Negro. She's not looking for Gustavo. She's looking for Walter.
Oh, have mercy me. All right, I got questions. I need answers. Let me know if you agree or is it bullshit. Y'all ready?
Okay, go.
All right. Latin people aren't really black. You agree with that, or is it bullshit?
Latin people are Latin.
Okay.
We're a mix.
They're mixed.
Yeah, it's a
mix. No matter if it's in the Caribbean or if it's in the South America, we're a mix.
All right. Yep. Black people don't support immigrants.
Black people do support immigrants.
Yeah, we do. We absolutely do. That's bullshit.
Right. That's super bullshit.
All right. We're all minorities. There's no need to separate our struggles.
That part.
Wait. Yeah. But wait, the question was there's no need to separate our struggles?
So it's a statement. And let me know if you agree with the statement or the statement is bullshit. Okay. We're all minorities. There's no need to separate our struggles. So like we just a big old bucket of minority.
Yeah, they treat us all the same.
We are a big old bucket of minority.
However, and that's one is a partial bullshit, right? Because we are a bucket of minorities because they created that.
Exactly.
Right. But as far as the need to separate our struggles, we all have struggles, but some are similar and some are different.
Right. I mean, nobody has a patent on hard times. So
right.
No.
I ran across one video that was like, what race do you feel like black people struggle more or Hispanics? Why are we doing that?
Right.
Like, why are we doing that?
Right. Because
that's the only reason that I called it bullshit. That's why the only reason why I said that part was because all of our struggles are because of the same man, the white man.
Yeah.
So
it's all caused by the same thing, like you said.
So I wouldn't call them the same, but like it's all the same common
the root cause.
The root cause
is the same. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next statement. Afro-Latinx folks should just pick a side.
Bullshit.
Bullshit.
Pick a side.
Oh gosh. Colorism doesn't affect men; it always affects women. Now that's the subject. How much?
That's bullshit.
That's bullshit. We just talked about my father.
It affects us too.
Bullshit. Yeah, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. It affects everybody the same, man.
Everybody the same. Racism is worse than colorism.
No.
No.
Okay.
Let's
talk about that one.
Right. Because racism
is just us attacking ourselves.
Right. But like for it to come within and you to be judging, we're the same fucking come on now. Like we're people. We're the same people. You my people. And for this to come from you because you a little lighter than me, bitch. Like so like that's a new level of disrespect. I've been dealing with it from white people, the racism and all that fuckery. Cool, that's them. I expect that from them. But you, bitch, because I'm darker than you. Okay.
Yeah. That's a problem.
Yeah, no, yeah, because now we just, we're attacking each other now.
Right.
Oh, I don't like you because you light skin, and I know, Shawnnell, you didn't dealt with that.
Yes.
With people, oh, you ain't black, you light skin. Oh, as they say in Louisiana, oh, you Creole. What?
You Creole, yeah.
What the hell is that?
Yeah. And Creole is an entire another culture of people.
Right,
Thank you.
That's not about color. Like, yeah. And they come in colors.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
When the police pull me over and beat the hell out of me, I'm black. Okay, no matter what color I am.
So they say a shit sandwich is a shit sandwich. We all have the same common undertones.
For real.
That part.
For real.
Real talk. All right, here comes some more.
Can't get over the laugh. It's clapping.
The only reason there's tension is because of gangs. It's the gangs, man.
The okay bullshit.
Yeah, that's super bullshit.
Yeah,
But I did
that's
read
super
something
bullshit.
about in California though,
Mhm.
where Mexican folks or Latino folks was making sure black folks wasn't in their neighborhoods and running them
whitening the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. She said gangs meaning politics. That's the only gang I know.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the
gang
biggest
at the top.
You know.
We know you meant
I mean,
because you.
I mean, as far as that gang thing, originally they were all put together to protect their community because the black community, the Latino community, they was all systematically getting harassed and shaken down by the white man.
Yeah.
So you can't depend on the police to come protect you in your neighborhood.
Yeah,
so
especially if you're the target.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so all those gangs before was, and at one point in time, they've all worked together.
Yeah. Yeah. We need to get that back together, y'all.
Yeah.
All right. Black folks get more government support than brown folk.
Okay, bullshit.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Absolutely.
I work for the Department of Social Services.
I'm just saying.
You have facts.
I can give you numbers.
A subject expert
I
right
can
here.
give you numbers.
You know,
and again, it
with
depends
that population and like with CPS and stuff like that too. And it's regional, right?
Right.
If I work,
It depends
if I
on
got clients
where
in
you
Austin,
living at.
there might be less Hispanics, but in the Houston area, there's more Hispanics. So
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
so brown folks work harder than black folks.
What the hell does that even mean?
Oh, now I've heard that before. I've heard that.
You've heard it too, haven't you?
Yeah, I have.
Yes.
I heard Jamaicans work harder than anybody.
Like, you know, Jamaicans have 15 jobs, man.
Exactly. But I ain't never heard. So brown folks work harder than.
Yeah, and I've heard that.
Don't get me wrong, Mexicans are very hard workers. Like brown people are very hard workers. Like
because they're hard workers.
Yeah.
You know, but here's the thing.
But like,
I don't think any more than us. I think that I believe that came from the idea. Okay, so you have immigrants that come over, right?
Exactly.
They gotta take what jobs they
That's what I was about to say.
Right?
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
So they are fucking hard workers, right?
Right.
They get the damn job done
and quickly.
Right? Except for that man that was discriminated against Fred yesterday, who didn't want to come across the street and cut his grass. So,
yeah,
like,
yeah, they ain't want to cut my grass, man. But y'all do look like crap too. And I'm like, I'm gonna stand right here by the garage. His wife looked like she wanted to come over and talk to me, but then he told her to get in the
black
truck.
man, and she didn't want to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, she looked like she was coming because she looked like she was about that money, but he told her to get in the truck, so she got in the truck.
Yeah.
That man wasn't discriminating. He was just ready to go.
He was ready to go.
Like, man,
I need to go over there,
I ain't
but I'm
cutting
tired.
no damn grass. Fuck this.
But I did hear that narrative, but I think it has to do more with immigrants that come and you know, do all the jobs and all that. And we talk all the time about like beyond slavery and what we've had to do before and our parents and grandparents and so on. There are certain jobs we don't do now. Like we
right.
Yeah,
we won't even apply.
We won't even apply for that, right? And stuff like that. So now it would make it look like, you know, an immigrant worker that they work harder than black people. But that narrative is also you know, come from the white man, of course, because they have to make us look like we're lazy. They have to follow the narrative that black people are lazy. So,
but and black and brown both work harder than white folks. So sit on that shit.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, because I mean, it's just like you said. Before there was an influx of immigrants coming over from, you know, from wherever they were coming from. Black people were the ones working the jobs that the white people didn't work. As we got more access to education and able to go get degrees, we were able to get better jobs.
Right.
You know, at one point in time in the 40s and the 50s, we was in the orange fields in California picking oranges.
Right.
Like you said, when you come over, we're gonna just use the undocumented immigrants. You got to take whatever job you can get. And if I'm a farmer and you not documented, well, I can pay you like $5 an hour.
Right.
Yeah, come get these oranges. Versus if I gotta pay Nancy, I'm gonna use you. Nancy might want $16. She might want $30 an hour to get out there and pick them oranges.
I mean,
I'm not hiring her.
Right, because citizenship is going to grant you those rights.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That lack of citizenship, you can kind of you can slide them in, and I see it all the time. But with my clients, you know what I'm saying? Until they get their hands on that green card, they doing whatever.
They're doing whatever they can do.
Yeah.
Right. You're just surviving.
And like you said, in the difference, I say with us, we're gonna use black people again. Yeah. But if I lose my $40-50 hour job and can't get another one and got to pay some bills, guess what?
I'm gonna go pick some oranges.
I'm going to work right next to my Latino brother. We're gonna be out there.
We'll be out there together because I'm not afraid of hard work. I'm not afraid to get out there and do it if I got to. But if I have a preference, then I'm not going to.
Right.
Exactly.
Good deal.
So yeah, no.
We ain't lazy. Black folks are more vocal about oppression than brown folk.
Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah. I'm gonna concur. I'm gonna concur with that.
I'm gonna concur with that one.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
The thing that made me even want to do this segment was I saw, because you can see online where Hispanics are like, black people, you're not looking out for us, you're not covering us, and then we show them the results and say, you didn't look out for us and we're not looking out for you, right? And one girl got on there, one lady got on there, she tried to explain some of the divide and the reasons, and part of her explanation was that we are more vocal and we out here and we will black pride and fight for our rights and the rights of everybody else, right? But there's not that, especially for women, because of the male domination and the machismo and they don't have that voice. And so they get mad at us for having that voice. And so it's basically a jab in the side to be like, and I'm gonna vote for Trump. Oh, loud, speaking your mind. It's like, it's the jealousy. It's the, I want to be able to do what you're doing, but I don't have the courage to. So instead of, hopping on your side, I'm gonna hop against you because I'm angry. That's how she described it. So what you think, Nancy?
I agree. I completely agree. I mean, the young lords during, the 1960 movements, they came from the Black Panthers. And a lot of other ones, kind of jumped on that bandwagon. But predominantly, it's always been African Americans to kind of take that first step.
Ashley says, people immigrating to America have been sold the American dream. So we're more vocal because we know it's smoke and mirrors, and people coming to the country need a little extra time to catch on.
Yeah, I'm down with Ash's comment. That makes sense. And
I hope they're catching on. And I think they're catching on. I think I see a lot of folks, but they also see a lot of folks staying in their willful ignorance that we spoke about.
Because I saw a lot of my Afghanistan immigrants that came in, and they came all together, and they really believed, they couldn't understand why they couldn't have more. And I'm like, it don't really work that way. And he was like, well, and this man literally stood up from his chair and said, what about my American dream? I said, it's really a nightmare, bro. Welcome to America. You know what I'm saying? It's not what you think it is. I don't know what they told you, and I don't know what you saw on TV, but it's not that.
But he's right. They are really selling. They selling it hard.
Yeah,
they're selling it hard. Right. Yeah. And I think it's easier now because they used to sell it to us, right?
Yeah.
And most of us got wind of it real fast and was like, this not gonna work. We need to figure out how we gonna make it through each day. So we realized how hard we would have to fight for any access to anything, right? Yeah. And so for people coming in, they don't get the experience yet, and they don't get the experience at all, really, because they still have access to things that we don't have access to.
Right.
And so they're able to start believing in that because they get the breadcrumbs, they get the loan, or here's how to start your business and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, and we like, okay, I know what business I want to start. I did all the numbers. I'm ready to roll. Give me the money. And then like, you're not giving your black ass nothing.
Denied.
Denied.
Go
figure it out. All right. See you later.
Good job selling that crack.
Exactly. Right.
So, and we right back in the struggle. So
it
is. It's a difference.
And even little stuff like me and Nae talked about, because with her esthetician things and all that, like even or like me having to take an NCE and Nancy having to take a test to be a social worker and all. So you do all the school, you graduate, yay. I did all the hours, I did the internship and all that, but I can't pass this stupid test. I can't do what I love because I can't pass a stupid test. Well, I found out that the test was put in motion also to keep us from having access to the positions, right? Under the guise of protecting the community. Want to make sure y'all good before you, like, the test is stupid. I did all this stuff, right? So if that's the case, why we ain't got a test for everything?
Exactly.
Because it's not a test for everything, right? Only the things y'all don't want us to have access to. So it's the same as taking a test to vote. It's the same concept.
Yep. 100.
All right. We're going back to agree or bullshit. You can't be racist if you're also a person of color. We just talked about that one.
Yeah.
No, you can't. You can't be racist. No, it says you cannot be racist if you're also a person of color. Because so if under the definition of racism,
right,
power control dynamic, nobody else has that power except white folks.
Exactly. So we can be biased as hell.
Right.
we can't be racist.
We cannot be racist. Most of the hate between our communities is just personal beef and not systemic. We know that's bullshit.
Yeah, that's bullshit all day.
The media purposely fuels black and brown division.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. It's not even that they're good at it. They don't even care that they're not good at it. They're gonna do it anyway. Somebody's gonna buy it.
And I remember, was it the last? Yeah, it was the last time he ran. He did that whole, that all the Mexicans are rapists and they're
rapists and criminals. And,
all of them.
Yeah. Think about it. We just gonna use the state of Texas. Every Republican runs on that. We're at war at our borders. We letting all these Mexicans and Muslims and anybody that's not a red-blooded natural American is a danger to your children, your community, and we got to keep them off the street. And then they'll show you the one-off Hispanic person on the news that then did something. Even if a Hispanic person stopped him from doing it, hey, look, Jose Valdez killed 2 people yesterday at the 7-Eleven. See what I told you? Yeah, see what I told you?
Yeah.
And like Brian said, they're not even trying to be good at it. Allegedly, he was undocumented. They telling you, I don't know if he was legal or not, but we just gonna say he was undocumented.
Yeah.
Right. But they leave out when that 12-year-old walk in that school, murder 130 people in 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? That and as a matter of fact, those type of issues don't even get brought up again. They're a big deal, and they're a very big deal when they happen, and that's a wrap. They don't even get a Netflix documentary and shit. That shit just like it never fucking happened. So it's
I ran across a rail with very young Bill Cosby. Talking. You know what one I'm talking about? Where he was just like, you put that in the paper. If the white man could murder his family, and he's just a man murder his family. But if a black man do something, it's a black man did this, a black man did that, a black man did this, right?
Yeah.
And they do the same thing with the Latin community as well. Yeah. You know, they're going to identify that culture, because I need to make sure you know that these are the people that's doing the stuff.
Right, because they're not criminalizing the individual; they criminalizing the whole race of people.
The whole race.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was you or Brian who said it. Like, if it's a Hispanic person, they gonna give you a mug shot with this mean look that looks like a killer. But if the white man kills his family, they're gonna show you this family portrait with them smiling.
They'll show you family photos. They'll keep humanizing the individual.
Right.
Yeah, I think when black people go to get arrested, they fuck our hair up. Because I'm like, everybody here can't be fucked
crazy, right?
They be like, man, turn around, put these cuffs on, let me fuck your hair up. Now take your picture. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
I would not be surprised, bro. I would not be surprised.
Because I've seen some mug shots, and then you'll see their Facebook page, and I'm like, well, why were you looking like that on that day? You know what I'm saying? You seem pretty clean cut every other time.
Every time, right? Oh my gosh. Leave it there. That's part of the protocol. Mess the hair up. You look crazy.
Fuck his hair up, Willie. Make him look like a real nigger.
I love bro so much. Oh goodness. All right, what we think about cultural appropriation within the communities of color?
Cultural appropriations.
If you are representing the culture that's not yours and not paying homage and respect to that culture, you're appropriating. That's for anybody.
Yeah.
But I think it, like I was saying before, our cultures blend so well. It's like quality gumbo. You know what I'm saying? And shit, I think we could keep our individual cultures come together, create a whole new damn culture on top of the culture. Be tri-cultured.
Come on now.
That'd be dope. But I mean, you know what? I'm about wait till I get to work. I'm about to talk to some of my Spanish people. I'm like,
we starting a movement.
Imagine if we brought black, like soul food and Mexican food together.
Shit, I'd eat that.
Yeah.
I go and take me a Zantac and eat that.
Yeah, you gotta get you some medicine and you know for the heartburn.
Yeah, you got to.
Right, for the heartburn.
But it'll be delicious. It'll be
seasoned and spicy. No,
and it's coming out hot.
Oh boy,
guess what?
And it'll be made with so much love because somebody's Mima and somebody's
Abuela got together too.
Yep. Yep. We call that
and Abuelas to get together and make us some quality meals. We putting a shot out there.
And that's the thing, like they gotta be a real change. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of times we boycotting the wrong shit. Like we need to hold our own people more accountable for their shit. Or tell them, like, go be with them. Go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Right. Make them choose. You know what I mean? Because we support, I think in the black and brown community, we support too much of the dumb shit and too much of the stereotypes. Because every time I see a Spanish movie, especially if it's from a Mexican standpoint, they drug lords. Black movies, we drug dealers. Getting it from the Mexican guy who's a drug lord. You know what I'm saying? When it's white people, they own Fortune 500 companies and shit. And I'm not saying that every last one of our movies are like that, because I used to watch the soap opera on El Mundo. I never knew what they I didn't know what they were saying about it, but that was my show, man. But and acting as well. But the general description of our two communities is that drug lords, drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? Or pimps or wild machete dudes. You know what I'm saying? So and from an outside source, from somebody outside of America watching American TV, think that's what they do. Because this is a representation of all of them. Again, the whole race gets the charge. Whereas the the white family living on a farm, raising horses and riding them in slow motion, or just like one of the shows I love, Yellowstone. Yellowstone shows these hard-working white people. We done built this land up from the ground, and you even got the backstories. But the closest thing we get to a historic, long, drawn-out story is Bass Reeves. One sheriff who was a kick-ass sheriff, and there'd have been multiple movies about him. Unfortunately, nobody never really fucking heard of him. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm sure that the Latina community has some good stories, right? But we just gonna get Al Capone, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we gonna get and Scarface, which is considered a fucking classic. You know what I mean? Yeah. A man sitting there smoking sniffing 10,000 pounds of cocaine. Like, do you want a piece of me? Like, bullshit, you know?
Hey! They gave the Latinos one superhero, Zorro.
Oh, Zorro was.
Yes. Yeah. He rides around in his mask, fighting for the oppressed. He's a rich. I love the one with Antonio Banderas, only because he's one of my favorites.
Only because it's Antonio Banderas, though. He's a cool motherfucker.
Yeah, he got a cool name. I love his name. I almost changed my name to Antonio Banderas.
I do have a question when it comes to the appropriation and stuff like that. Like, how do we feel about because I know our hair has very significant meaning to us, whether it's braids, whether it's locks, whether it's like anything, our hair has very significant meaning to us, but it also has very significant meaning to the Hispanic culture. Like, their hair means a lot to them as well. And so when it comes to something as braids, which I've seen in Hispanic cultures before, especially like Dominican, like, how do we feel about Hispanics rocking cornrows and box braids and stuff like that sometimes does root from their culture as well, but of course because it's so ingrained in Black culture, most of us niggas think that it belongs to strictly just us. Like,
I don't buy into none of that. Like I and I don't even see why people get so offended. I'm like, it's a hairstyle, man. You know, you ain't invented, you don't own it.
So for Black, you're not using it to mock.
Right.
Yeah.
If you use
it,
like
they trying to be
so
Black.
Like,
right.
So like even with the simple shit as like it's a hairstyle, even for me personally, I don't agree with that, because if you think about somebody as like a native, that's not just a fucking hairstyle.
No,
that
hair means
everything to them.
That means
like,
everything to them.
They only cut that shit when something significant happened and they fucking.
Yeah, I understand
so
that,
like,
but in general, that ain't what it is. It's just a bunch of niggas walking around. Most people,
and it was.
No,
but back in the that historically it was though, because the cornrow was how like we hid food in the cornrow when they was
I know
so
the
because
history
of that, like, and for Black, and I think for Black women it's a little more, because again we were banned from even showing our hair.
That
like, we wasn't even able to wear it out and about and all. We had to wear scarves and all that, and then they stole that shit and made it couture and all that. So like so I think the appropriation thing has so much to do with people stealing from us all the time. Like, we're not allowed to do it. Like, you can't wear your hair, Black woman, because you're outshining these white people and all that. Cover that shit up. And then we adorn that. And they're like, well, shit, you look too cute again.
Right.
And then the white women like, well, I'm going to do it. And then all of a sudden it's accepted.
Right. So for me, it's like, oh, when a Black woman does it, it's like, oh, don't do that. Cover it up. When white women start wearing box braids and start getting all these, these edges and these wigs laid down and shit like that, now it's just a hairstyle. Now it's just hair. Like, now we ain't got no right to complain, even though we were told, sit the fuck down and shut up, put your hair up. Like,
but that's because they was trying to appropriate us to look like them. But then when they wanted to look like us, they ain't gonna tell them nothing.
Right. Then you
now all y'all, fuck it, all y'all could do it because we don't want to tell them nothing. But the thing is, Nae, is a lot of people that do that, they don't know the culture. They don't know the history. They don't know any of that. Oh, they look at our styles, our way, our everything like it's just something we do. Like the day they saw it was the day it came out. You know what I'm saying? And they have no interest in our backstory. You know what I'm saying? So, because if they really cared, they would look further into it. Because I remember when I did a bunch of research on dreads and things back in the 90s when I had my 2-string twist, and I always knew how important the Afro was way more, so much so I wrote a whole rap song about it, but it was way more than just a hairstyle. So but even with that, like, even if you was to break that down to somebody outside of the black culture, they'd hear you, but they wouldn't take no interest in it because it's no interest to them, and they turn around and go get them box braids if they thought they was cool, and half of it would be because they like how it looked. Other half would be, I'm gonna show you, nigga, I can rock this too. You know what I'm saying? And you goddamn right, they trying to be like us. Who wouldn't want to be? You know what I'm saying? Who wouldn't want to be?
Because, and I just saw a video about that. Hispanic girl was saying the same thing for black people and Hispanic people. Like, it, all the white girls, they rocking the scarves and all of the, how the scarves and make them out of a shirt and all that stuff. And showing, like all of us in our stuff, and then white girls doing it, and now it's just fashion or whatever.
It's a fashion trend,
right? But when I wear it, you associate it with being ghetto. You associate it with being, poor or whatever the case may be, because we made a style out of a damn scarf.
There was one video in particular where I saw on TikTok, and it was like a few years back, that this Hispanic girl had got on there and she wrapped her bandana around her chest.
Yes, that's what I saw too.
And she had her little bell bottoms on. It was cute as fuck. Right, but it had all these white women in the comments dragging her. I mean, dragging the piss out of her. Fucking another white woman sees it and decides to do it. And when I say every single white girl hopped on it after that,
exactly,
like,
to the point where it's a whole outfit. You can go buy it at Walmart right now. You can go right there. You can go on Amazon and get the whole fit.
Yeah,
exactly. But 55 years of life, they've been taking our shit. Every time we come up with something, it's trash, and then when they do it, it's supposed to be the fucking bomb. And then these motherfuckers turn around and act like they started that shit. Like, we started the Afro. You a goddamn lie. Ain't enough holding spray in the world. That dippity do, dippity don't. You know what I'm saying? It's like anything. I mean, you look at from the music, a white dude rapping was an anomaly. You know what I'm saying? Now it's common as shit. Even them weird ass fucking island boys, I'm still trying to figure their asses out. But even that. But I think now, I don't know about the brown community, and Nancy, you chime in if you've seen that. I think one of our biggest problems is with, and especially from the white perspective, we let everybody in. We welcome them in.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying. Back in the 90s, there was a group called Living Color, not to be confused with TV show. A rock group. There was a heavy metal rock group, all black. Had a hit song called Cult of Personality. White radio wouldn't give him no play. None whatsoever, to the point where the group failed and it fell apart. And then, but here come Eminem. What we call him? The best rapper in hip hop. Right. You know what I'm saying? So we always got our door open. You know what I'm saying? We always got our door open. And I think they confuse that kindness for weakness, till the shit hit the fan. But the thing is we not gonna discriminate. We respect the art form. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we not looking at your skin color. Can you rap or not?
Can you rap?
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Can you bust these moves? Right.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Because you're right. Right.
Exactly. Look.
Yeah, I was about to say that right there.
Yep. J-Lo and Kim Kardashian built it off black culture, and that's the whole truth. And I heard J-Lo don't even been singing and ain't never been singing. I was so hurt.
No.
That's what I heard. She been getting over for years because they had an interview with the lady who actually was singing the song.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Millie does for years.
She did.
Yeah. Wow.
And look, her career didn't end.
Her career didn't end, but Millie Vanilli did it,
and they could actually sing.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they could actually sing.
Wait. Generation found it. I don't know if y'all generation remember, but y'all generation just skimmed past it like it never happened. I don't know if y'all remember when she said "nigga" on that song. And this was not, but this wasn't before like J-Lo was like
J-Lo. She wasn't Jenny from the Block yet.
I think she. I don't know.
She didn't have a black card.
I was real young. All I know is I'm one of them people that I don't care if you're brown or not, you still can't say it. And so when I say my generation, they went back and we just found it was in some song that she was in with, what's his name? It was one of her, like, it was like a big hit. Like, y'all were jamming to that shit. Like, so I'm strong or some shit. Yeah, it was so big. I think it was with Ja Rule in it or some shit.
Okay.
Oh, that was
yeah.
I do know what you're talking about.
Her nigga something. And
okay, I'm real.
Yeah,
yep,
I'm
that's
real.
what it was.
I'm real.
Yeah.
A nigga was jamming to that shit. I ain't gonna lie. I was playing that shit at my gigs. Yes, sir. And what she said, nigga. But that's because y'all little bastards got the internet. And you ain't gonna problem.
We had internet.
We had books.
No, yeah, for sure. And that's why
encyclopedia
Yeah, a lot of stuff got past us, and
but yeah,
we couldn't catch it all.
Just kind of tacking it on top of what she said about them building their whole career on top of our culture.
Right.
Like in the day, that's not her word to say. Like, and so for her to say it and then just get away with that shit, like y'all didn't have the internet to go back and press up for real. That shit.
Yep.
But we did.
It was
like, so
it was the J. Rule narrative. The J. Rule negative got a buy on that. Yep. Yeah. I mean, you know, because we got the cool shit. The Spanish community got the cool shit. You know, that's why we can't have shit. I mean, because if you look at it, unfortunately, and of course, I'm not down in white people. I'm just telling the truth. They ain't really got no cool shit. You know what I'm saying? They don't really have no cool shit. I think if they quit being so damn racist, they could meet somebody who came up with some cool shit. Yeah, but you keep trying to make it all about y'all gonna have unseasoned food and plain ass rice. That's all it is. Eating Taco Bell, talking about this is real Mexican food. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that ain't real Mexican. Tex-Mex is not real Mexican food.
No.
I've told people that. And just like when I was clowning you earlier, when I asked you, like, you hadn't heard of Bad Bunny, Pitbull, I knew these dudes before they was bad. Yeah, well, yeah, everybody heard it, but I knew them before they was Bad Bunny and Pitbull, when you had to know somebody from the island to hear their music.
Okay.
That's how I heard it. Yeah, because I got friends from Puerto Rico. I heard these dudes like way before they got mainstream, because I love the fact that most of their music is in Puerto Rican. They don't have everything in English, and I think that's cool, because I'm like, you're not from America.
Everything I got from Bad Bunny is not. None of it is in English.
Yeah, I'm like, you from Puerto. You know, people get mad. Their music not in English. I'm like, they from Puerto Rico. They making their music for their people.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Hey, I don't know some of the stuff that Pitbull was saying on some of the. I listen to him every day. And I be in here supposed to be working, jamming my ass off, saying something. I don't know what it is.
And that's the great part about that, because I ran across a couple of things that was talking about like the language barriers and stuff like that. And it's funny because I find myself even now, if I have a client that needs a translator, interpreter, and all that, as I'm listening to them talk, like, because it's more than just words. Right, because it's body language and it's the facial and all that kind of stuff. So I can almost follow along based upon the question I asked. You know, I don't know exactly what they're saying, right? But I can kind of figure some stuff out by the facials and the body language and all that stuff. So like, language doesn't have to necessarily be the biggest barrier, because like there's more than just that, right?
Right.
And the reel that I saw was somebody basically saying, oh, this language barrier is getting in our way, and then the person of Hispanic race was like ethnicity was answered in English, and then the other person is like, wait, you speak English all this time? And he's like, oh, I was 5, right? So how much of a barrier was it, right? Because a lot of people that speak Spanish also do speak English, and in a lot of countries they also speak English, right?
Yeah,
it's their second language and all that, you know. So it doesn't have to be a barrier. I think that as our two cultures, and I feel this way heavily about our two cultures, is that they really do need to be a blending and a mending, right?
Yep.
Yeah, no, so, we actually do.
Yeah, and we can call this new culture. We can call this new culture Gustavo.
I like it. I like
it. Like, hey man, what's your culture? Cool, Gustavo, baby. And then you already know what it is. Shit.
We've been talking about like our differences a lot, and one like similarity between Hispanic and Black people that I've realized a lot is like we both have very big values in family. Like we both ride for ours. Like and like I said, it's another reason we would be dangerous if we came together, because we would ride for each other the same way we ride it for our own. Like so
that's why they kept us separated.
And that's why they kept like Maya just said, language nor religion was a barrier when the Moors helped to civilize a great portion of Europe, right? Because we've always been in a fight together. We've always been in a fight together. And so this is not a new fight, but like I need y'all to recognize what side y'all need to be on. We need to be on the same side.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason that Black people are like, I'm not coming out there.
Not at all.
Let me make that announcement too. They talking about they gonna protest. What date they said?
April 5th.
April 15th.
Black people, you're not doing it, Black people.
Sit your black ass down.
Sit your black ass down.
yeah. Y'all saw that joint?
Yes. That was so funny.
But and yeah, I mean, and two, we definitely not making no moves. And I beg of every Black person within earshot or eyeshot, don't get involved, because each time we get involved, there has to be a sacrifice. You know, so we always have to sacrifice a life to make a point. And that's enough of that. For them to do what they're gonna do anyway. I mean, these people sitting up here trying to actually bring back segregation and Jim Crow.
Right.
So nah. And I mean, even that's a play to try to get us to make
it is. Yeah, all of it's a play to try to get us back.
Yeah. And they were shocked by the outcome of that play. When we all said bring it back.
Yeah. Well, you know what though? I think I hear people saying that, and I don't really agree. I get where they're coming from, and I get the power behind, bring it back. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But you know, it's not going to be a fair give. You know what I mean? Realistically. So, you know, while people are saying that, I want people to think realistically, have a plan. You know what I'm saying? Have a plan for that. Because I saw one young lady was saying it, and she kind of really went into detail about the how and the what. So that I respect it. But then I saw some people was just saying it to be saying it. Yeah. And if you're gonna be honest with yourself, sometimes people speak aggressively out of fear. You know what I'm saying?
I believe that. I definitely believe that.
Because it's a scary thought. Because
it is.
When the more I hear about it, I'm thinking about Jaden, Xavier, Raven, Raquel, my grandkids. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I could talk about all the shit I'm gonna do. Right. But what are they gonna do? You know what I'm saying? And if push come to shove and something happens to me in that, what are they gonna do? Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's a bigger thought process to that, because anybody who has an inkling of what segregation looks like, it is not we get our piece and they get their piece and we living out. It's not like that. You know what I mean? So I want everybody like be more mindful when you're saying that, and if you're gonna say it, back that shit up with a plan so the rest of us can get some ideas.
Exactly. You know exactly. And that's what I would say too. Like anything that we do come together in solidarity to do, let's come together in solidarity and really do it. Right. And we've already shown within this revolution that we're in now that, you know, we need to do the target. And Costco is great. Costco is like, hell yeah. Right. Yeah. Because everybody
like bring me your money.
Them to love, right. And all that. And so the evidence is there that we have the ability we've always had the ability to do it. But now we have more reason to galvanize together and continue to have conversations like this. And then that's why we want to have this conversation and kill whatever beef they started between our communities and start getting back together and stop fighting each other.
Right, because it's not real.
That does not mean Black people coming out there though, because we will not sacrifice ourselves again.
And God dang it, brown people, stay your ass home too. Shit, stay your ass home.
I mean,
if y'all didn't vote against your own interests, stay in the house.
Shit,
Stay
hell
home.
Stay in the house, eat some fajitas, drink some Modelo's. Modelo's
Oh,
be
I like that
rolling,
Modelo too. I
and
like the
just
Negro.
I like Modelo's.
Yeah, the
chill
Negro. I
out.
like to talk
Now,
later.
Maria said something here. Our communities thrive
Maya.
more before Maya. Okay, my bad. Before segregation because we had no choice. I can agree, but
and I think
disagree
that's the part
with
that I
this.
think that's the part that I'm agreeing from when I hear my people say, okay, bring it back. Because at the end of the day, this is 2025 now. We're not the same niggas we were back then when this shit was segregated in the first place. Personally, I'm not a nigga that's gonna let anybody scare me, frighten me, kick me out of anywhere. You put that whites up on a sign, nigga, I ain't want to be up in there the first place. But like, for me, like, do we need a plan? Absolutely. But I feel like as Black people, we've been developing a plan since this man got elected in office. Like, we've been developing our plan, started shit like the Black Revolutionary Collective, and what's that other girl that started that whole little like organization, the one that you sent to me when it first kicked off?
That's when they first said we should have our own project,
like Black Project 2025 or some shit. Mm-hmm. Like we've already been making our moves to like buy from ourselves, for us, by us type shit. So for us, I think it's more of a like a nigga, you don't fucking scare me, bring it back.
Yeah.
Like,
Right, but I don't think it's a thing about fear, because those people weren't fear. Put that comment back up.
Damn, Maya, you done started something.
I feel the most important part of this comment is the last sentence. Like, this is precisely why our prosperity was attacked. So we had accomplished these things. We had our own communities. We had our own neighborhoods, our own bus routes, our own police department. We had whole cities with just ours, banks, and it was schools, multiple. And as soon as they was like, these niggas is happy, they literally bombed us. So and this is what I mean when I say have a plan, because what they do is the same routine over and over and over again. They're gonna do the same thing. What we don't have is military planes. We don't have bombs. We don't have a 17-year-old that's willing to run up in a church full of people praying and spray them all down. So that's what I mean when I say have a plan. It's not so much a thing about being scared that somebody's gonna say, don't come in here. For real, even back in the day, that wasn't a thing. And even my childhood growing up, you couldn't go to Metairie. You couldn't go to Metairie or Kenner. So we didn't go.
All St. Bernard Parish.
Yeah, all St. Bernard Parish. But we wasn't scared to go if we had to go. We didn't hang around though. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing to, be like, oh, the building on fire. It's another thing to say the building on fire, let's all go inside. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a thing. It's not a thing about fear. It's a thing about with life experience and what, what I'm saying, and what I know 9 times out of 10 how these people gonna respond to that. If they decide, well, y'all, we gonna segregate y'all, now y'all building and y'all happy, and now we mad because you happy, like they can be some foul ass people, and they the people with they think with, we got guns, but they got bombs. You know what I'm saying? And all them thug ass niggas that talk that thug ass nigga shit on them thug ass nigga records ain't gonna be nowhere to be fucking found. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be a bunch of regular people with regular families trying to live a regular life out there, having to put in that type of work.
Yeah, I saw somebody on TikTok that was like, talking some shit about how Martin Luther King marched for what or some shit. And the lady that stitched her was basically like, love, we haven't ever enjoyed coexisting with white people. She was like, what we were fighting for was the same rights as them hoes. Like, she was like, we're fighting for the right to be able to get our own goddamn bank account, fucking vote, get a good paying fucking job. She was like, not be nobody goddamn mammy. Like, she was like, we're fighting for that shit. And I think that's the biggest part that I didn't really agree with, was probably what did he march for? Because look at what the white people doing right now. They've always done shit like that. So to disregard what Martin Luther did march for, and what he did accomplish from this, it's the reason that me and my mama are business owners.
Exactly.
So
I hate stupid ass people. That's what I mean when I say we need to start holding our own people accountable for that dumb shit. Not just Dr. Umar. You know what I'm saying?
And see, that's why a lot of those people don't do their research. Martin Luther King marched for federal laws to be put in place, because before we got the Civil Rights Act and all of that. The states decided individually what you could do and what you couldn't do. There's a reason why only the southern states segregated everything, and you could go to New York City and you could sit in a restaurant with a white guy. They might talk shit about you, but you can walk in there and sit in there.
Right.
I do want to say I agree
they're
with
trying to get
Maya.
back to that too.
I do want to say
that's what he's trying to get back to.
She
Go
did say
ahead,
something about we have to be a collective, and that's one of the biggest things that I've been seeing is even as Black people, we're not that collective together. Like they're even with the whole Hillman talk shit. It was one of us that destroyed the shit. Like it wasn't a white person. It was one of our own that tanked that shit. Like,
that destroy what?
Hillman talk. Hillman talk. Little thing that we were like on TikTok where we were just
right. Okay.
Like it was one of us that tanked it because she decided she wanted to monetize off.
She wanted to monetize it.
It's always the money.
It's the money. It's always the money.
We can get over the goddamn money. Like, and me and Mama say this all the time. We can get over the fact that money is a fucking social construct. Like, we'll all be thriving.
Yep.
Right.
When you're always poor, the only thing you think about is money.
Right.
Because as white a corporate America, I've already programmed you to be like, you're not happy unless you have this.
Come on. Yeah.
If you don't have this, you're not happy. Your broke ass still in the hood, little Black girl, a little Mexican girl. You broke. Stop listening to your broke ass friends. Start dealing with us who got all the money. We can show you how to make it. You ever wondered, like Shawnnell can relate, whenever I used to talk to people about doing real estate deals, they never showed me how I could go do it, keep 100% of the money for myself. Let me partner up with you and we can split this 50-50. Okay, how about you just show me what I need to do so I can go make my own money?
Right.
It's always 50-50. And as Black people and
teach us to compete and not collaborate, right? And collaboration, cooperation, those are things that we should be doing, right? There's not one therapist that show up on my page that I don't help promote, right? Just because I'm a therapist, that don't mean I get to therapize everybody, right? I'm not the best fit for everybody and all that. And why would I not help out my fellow sister who is also trying to get in the game, right? And all that. So I think if we start thinking more collaboratively, right, and how we can help each other, get out of that mindset of competition, because I'm not your competition. You are your competition. Like, I'm not, right? And the and that's what I think is better about the younger generation too, because they will collaborate together.
Y'all will collab.
The only thing that the younger generation needs to is like, we have so much trauma for our parents that we don't listen to the older generation. So like, for example, when me and Uncle Brian are talking, I'm listening to his experience. I'm listening to the fact that my uncle was born closer to segregation than I was. So like, if my generation could get over the amount of trauma that we have when it comes to listening to people from older generations of us, we would be on fire, because how diehard we are for like just justice for all, and just how much wisdom that you guys have, it would be a very good balance.
Our two generations could kick ass together if we got it together.
And we got to have our brown, so we can have some Gustavo, baby.
Oh Lord.
We can get all our very light skinned I said skinned. I'm sorry, Mom. Apologize, Mom. Shit just came out. All our light-skinned Latino people can be our infiltrators. You know what I'm saying? And get in, see what's going on. God damn it. You think they ain't doing it? What you think the Island Boys was? They had to be something. They had to be something.
Because they couldn't rap.
Song was catchy as shit, though, you know.
And on that note with Nae, though, let me speak to the older folks like us. Hear your shit. Because the kids got the generational trauma because we weren't heard. Our shit.
Yeah, we weren't heard.
right? And so that's up to our generation to heal what we need to heal so we can connect to our younger generation. And then we can gather together and be able to do these things. And then they will value our wisdom and they'll value what we think and be willing to hear us. But if you can't tell your child you sorry because you hurt their feelings,
right?
Because they do got feelings, right? You know, whether you like, if you can apologize for the bullshit, then that child cannot walk away with trauma. Like, I don't want to fucking listen to you because you can't even say you're sorry. Right. It's as simple as that, right? But that means you got to heal yourself. So work on yourself.
Yep. And you can get in touch with Shawnnell, your no bullshit therapist.
And if you're a young person and you need to speak Spanish, Nancy got your back as well.
Contact Nancy for Espanol.
Yes. Y'all got any more comments before we wrap this thing up? This was good conversation, y'all.
Yeah. Oh, she said that.
Ignorant. She said ignorant.
They're not ignorant.
Ignorant. That's serious. That's a serious word right there.
Yeah.
That's different than ignorance.
For real. That's like the difference between.
You know what ignorant is? Ignorant is willfully ignorant. That's like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you know better and won't do better.
That's like the difference. Yeah, that's like the difference between poor and po.
Real.
Personally, I'm almost 25 and I'm not ignorant. So,
well, that it shows. We know that. We ain't talking about you.
Yeah, we ain't talking about you.
You're not in that category.
Everything ain't all about you, Nate.
Yeah.
Well, if you hate that you missed most of this, you can always go back and watch it from the very beginning.
Yes,
and hear us talk about Fred's raggedy internet.
Ain't nothing wrong with my internet.
Something wrong with you.
Yeah, Maya. You can see it on the Facebook page, and you can also see it on Choosing Empowerment's YouTube page. You know, and we are here every Sunday at 7:00 and spread the word. I also want to give a quick shout out because we've been increasing our numbers. They may be small to y'all, but they're big to us.
Exactly. I feel viral. I feel viral all over.
Exactly. We got 72 followers on YouTube and we got 23 on Spotify. Come on, y'all. I need y'all to follow.
Shout out. Big shout out to the 72. To the 72. You know what I'm saying?
Share and more sharing, people. You know what I'm saying?
That's right, Ashley.
Ashley was day one. He was day one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Ashley been day one.
I know that is true. I appreciate you, man. You're a day one, man. And you know what? Thank you. Because you know, I had some technical difficulties earlier.
For the men's show, because on 420 there will be a men's.
Oh yeah, you need to be on the podcast, baby.
You know what?
You need to be on the podcast. We got a subject coming up.
I was thinking that same thing. I was thinking that.
Because she's an educator, so you know, I got a subject she could be on.
Oh, Maya, we doing one on
preschool to prison.
Yeah.
You be on that one?
Come on, Maya.
Come on, Maya.
Them ignorant 25-year-olds.
Except for Nae.
Yeah.
Except for Nae. That's right.
Not my niece, though. Not my niece.
Not my niece. My baby is super intelligent.
Yeah, she is.
So, I can't come from Shawnnell and not be intelligent. So
I asked it. Gotcha.
Bet. So if anybody else got subjects out there, spread the podcast out there. You know, I feel like we're doing a good job too. You know what I'm saying?
I concur.
I'm learning a lot and I'm enjoying talking to all the people and all that, spreading the love and the knowledge because we tell the truth.
And the truth.
You know what I'm saying? So keep spreading everything, y'all.
Oh Lord,
attorneys.
Oh my goodness. Damn. Give me some names. Yeah, give me some names so I don't hire them. See, that's the people get you sit to jail for life.
So we appreciate everybody coming to the show tonight. Like we say, like, share. If you're looking for services, come holler at us at Choosing Empowerment. Go to the website. You can schedule a consultation, and it's free. Absolutely.
So, like free.
We appreciate everybody for this evening. And we had anybody else that showed up? We said Maya. Don't forget, Janae was in here too. We appreciate you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, twin.
Y'all give her a shout out.
Yep.
Remember, don't stop
Janae
in
from
Nashville.
Yeah,
Don't
don't
stop.
stop. Keep on trucking, baby.
Keep it pushing. So we love you all. And remember, don't take no bullshit off nobody. This is no bullshit zone.
Period.
And y'all have a great evening. See y'all next week.